Now, leading international experts, policymakers, advocates and families affected by fetal alcohol spectrum disorder are gathering in Ennis this week for the 2026 FASD Ireland International Conference. It's going to be hosted over 3 days in Hotel Woodstock. The event will explore the theme of justice and FASD, examining everything from access to services and public awareness to the experiences of people with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder within social and justice systems. And to find out more about all of this and the conference in particular, I'm joined by the CEO of the Ennis-based FASD Ireland, Tristan Casson-Rennie, who I no doubt is very busy but has made time for us. Tristan, how are you?
I'm very good. Good morning, Alan.
Thanks for being with us. And look, we've spoken before about how it's the second conference you've held, and first one went really well, and this one has it's grown. It's a beast, a veritable beast. But I guess that just shows the appetite for information and awareness that is out there. So give us an overview of what's going to be happening, because I think last year was the 1 day. Now it's 3 days.
Yes, absolutely. Last year was 1 day and it was exceptionally well attended. This year we're starting off at Hotel Woodstock this afternoon at 2:30. We have an international round table which is going to be attended by 14 countries, along with a French MP and the Vice President of the European Parliament. It's a very important event. We also have Deputy Donna McGettigan from Clare attending in person as well, and I know Joe Cooney is sending one of his team along as he's in Leinster House today. So it's going to be a really good international roundtable event. Then tomorrow the main conference starts, registration at 9 o'clock, and our first keynote will be Professor Julian Davies, who's flying in from Seattle. He should be on the ground in Dublin in about an hour's time. So we'll give him a chance to rest. But it
sounds like, Tristan, you've been keeping an eye on the aviation tracking system online.
It's like Avengers Assemble today. I'm watching all these flights coming in. Julian has run the longest or the oldest FASD clinic in the world for 23 years. So what he doesn't know about FASD, we don't need to worry about. So we're very honoured to have him as a paediatrician coming to talk at our conference this year.
Very good. So I mentioned the theme is justice and FASD. So what does that theme mean in practical terms?
Well, in practical terms, we know that people who live with FASD are 19 times more likely to engage in the judicial system at some point in their life. And that's not because they particularly have committed any criminal acts. It's just that they don't have the ability to recollect anything with their damage caused by the alcohol to their short-term memory, and so they tend to confabulate memories, which essentially, if you're under pressure in an interview from the guard or Chicana, you might all of a sudden find that you've pled guilty to a charge or a crime
without a full understanding of the situation.
Absolutely. Okay. Perhaps even not understanding why you're in being investigated.
Okay.
So one of the speakers that we have is Gilbert. From David Junior Gilbert from the Salford University in Manchester. He's speaking tomorrow on Friday on day 2, and he's done an extensive amount of research into the justice system, and particularly how the justice system reacts when people are living with FASD. We know, for example, in Ireland, a third of our prison population are likely to be living with a form of FASD, so it's quite a lot of people.
Okay, and we know from speaking to previously, Tristan, in terms of services, that there are gaps there. So what are the biggest gaps in services and the understanding that families in this country are facing today?
Well, the single largest gap is that the state still doesn't recognise FASD as a disability, and we know that because Minister Hildegard Naughton, when she was Minister for Disability last year, put that on record. We have tirelessly campaigned to get that overturned. We're not making any progress, and that's part of the interest from the European Parliament being in attendance today, is that they just cannot believe why Ireland is not recognising what is the highest prevalence of disability in the country.
And just to expand on that, I mean, the fact that they're not recognising a disability, even though Hildegard Naughton put it on record, but through this conference, having someone like Yunus Omarjee, the Vice President of the European Parliament, coming, our political representatives, you would hope, in terms of awareness and just from our local representatives and their ability to run it up the flagpole, that situation might change in the near future?
I have
or you're not counting your chickens quite yet?
I have many sleepless nights about that situation. There is just no impetus from our government whatsoever, even to discuss FASD.
So you can't even get a sense of why they're not recognising it as a disability?
Well, I have a sense, and that's because we know that 381,000 people live with the disability in this country, and the parliamentarians don't understand enough about the condition, despite us trying to educate them, and they are fearful that all of a sudden 381,000 new faces are going to rock up,
will play
saying that they want medical services and so on. But actually, the reality is all of these people are already in the system, but they're being looked after for the wrong reasons, and that's costing the state €4.6 billion every year.
But FASD it's entirely preventable.
Yes.
If properly addressed and dealt with and supported, that situation that you've posited there, Tristan, that the government have a nightmare scenario of 380,000 people looking for disability services. If it's dealt with properly, that won't happen. But awareness still appears relatively limited. You guys are doing your utmost to change that. If the government were to row in on this as well, that would add to the spotlight, the intensity of that spotlight on it. How much more awareness is needed? Who else needs to play a part, aside from yourselves, our political representatives, central government, in raising awareness? Well,
we have just started what we call our national conversation campaign. We are hopeful that everybody will engage in that campaign and write to their political representatives. We know that type of campaign works because in the USA a few years ago they had this similar campaign called 2 Senators, 1 Representative, and only this year, in spite of everything that's going on in the USA, this year the federal government have funded FASD services $12.5 million a year for the next 5 years. So $60 million has been announced. Now we know there's cutbacks all across America when it comes to DE&I services, but FASD has managed to be secured and secure funding. A lot of that is because the current incumbent president does not drink alcohol, so he's very pro the work that we're doing. Very
good point. I did wonder, while $60 million over 5 years will make the world a difference in dealing with this issue, whether in the grand scheme of the money that's talked about in the US, it wouldn't be noticed. But yes, he's very Puritan in that regard. So I guess that's a rare occurrence where...
Yeah, it's a very rare occasion where I hat tip to the current incumbent. But yes, I'm just back from Seattle with some of my team, and they were very jubilant at that news. It's been fantastic. On the world stage, and we presented in Seattle the current policy in Ireland, and we are very much the outlier in the world. We have no policy, we have no assessment or diagnosis pathway, we have no framework of care or support. We have nothing in Ireland today for people living with FASD apart from our national telephone helpline service, which we run ourselves on a shoestring budget.
Yeah, I guess at the moment you can only but dream of receiving €12 million a year over 5 years to help you, but that hasn't happened as of yet. Does Ireland need a dedicated national strategy for FASD? What would that strategy look like?
It does. Well, the first thing I would hope in that strategy is that instead of the government cutting our funding from $200,000 a year to the current offer of $27,500 a year,
from 200 down to 27.
Yes, not enough to pay my rent, actually. Yes, the current Minister for Disability has made very clear that, in her words, and I'll quote you, surely FASD is on the decline because people know the risks of alcohol. No, Minister, that's not the case. And, we are struggling with that ignorance in government at this time. But yes, we do need some kind of either alcohol-related harm fund or somebody who looks after alcohol-related injuries or illnesses so that the country can get a grip of it. Now, I'm not saying don't drink alcohol. I've never said that. Our organisation doesn't say that. What we say is, if you are planning to start a family or grow your family, then a man should stop drinking 90 days out before conception, and a woman should stop drinking for the entirety of the pregnancy, because alcohol is a teratogen, it crosses the placenta, and it does cause harm to the developing fetus in the same way that thalidomide is a teratogen, and that caused harm to a developing fetus, and that was outlawed in 1962.
You've outlined the considerable calibre of guests and speakers you're going to have across the 3 days. Is that helping in terms of garnering a significantly sized interested audience?
It is. We have done rather well on ticket sales this year. We do have a limited number and people are still buying them this morning, which is fantastic news. So we will have a full house at Hotel Woodstock over the next 3 days. And, it's credit to my team, really. We are a very small team of 6 people in Ennis here. We have a couple of students from Limerick University working with us as well. But credit to my team for all of the work that they have been doing to keep the conference in the main public eye and to keep interest going and sell tickets. But if people want tickets, they are still available through the website fasdireland.ie. Please log on, get your ticket, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Okay, well, I do hope the next time we're speaking to you ahead of the 3rd International Conference that there is recognition and support, financial and otherwise, from central government. But I guess as things stand, we won't hold our breath on that, Tristan.
No, please don't.
But we wish you all well with the conference over the 3 days, and thanks very much for joining us this morning.
You're very welcome. Thank you. That
is Tristan Casson-Rennie, the CEO of FASD Ireland, who are headquartered here in Ennis. And just to mention that next Monday at 11 a.m, Clare FM will be broadcasting a special documentary on FASD featuring experts, parents and people living with Foetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder, titled The Hidden Disability. The documentary was produced by Clare FM's Pádraig Flaherty.